Hey everyone, Nam here again. Back to talk about another case from Unsolved Mysteries. Uh, this one deals with a bit of controversy and possibly some conspiracy. That's the case dealing with Danny Casolaro. He was an investigative reporter. He was found dead in Martinsburg, West Virginia, of supposed slashing marks and cuts on his wrist from cutting himself. I'll get into that part uh, in a bit, but he supposedly had inside information regarding with the government, what they had and the knowledge they had, and they were about the topics that they were called the octopus, the in-laws case, and the October surprise. The octopus, it was a vast interlocking network of criminal conspiracy that reaches into every branch of the agency of the U.S. government and international governments as well, or other national governments. And the Inslaw case dealt with like softwares and computer manufacturers whose owner accused of the Justice Department stealing its work product. And the October surprises, supposedly that dealt with uh, Iran having knowledge or an agreement with the U.S. for the 1980 election to help Ronald Reagan set up for him to win the election because remember he had said, if I'm elected president, I will uh, guarantee that we're going to go in there and release all those hostages. That's supposedly that one has been up for debate, but nonetheless, so it's still very interesting. And Calasero has supposedly had so many other much information to prove this, but unfortunately for him and I guess for everyone else who's been interested in this, we don't never know because he allegedly committed suicide. Now getting to that about the suicide, things were here. Let's look at my notes here. Uh, his family said like he was not even fond of like getting blood work done. Like it maybe if he was like I don't know, like a simple blood test, or if he saw something like getting a shot or something. No, not a shot, but a blood work. Sorry. But so why would he cut his wrist 12 times? It was 8 times on one hand and 4 times on the other. I don't think someone who supposedly gets at the sight of blood gets kind of probably faints or something. I don't think that would be a means of way they would want to do it if they were going to commit suicide. And he actually said before to his family and friends that if he winds up dead, that it's not an accident, that it's because he was murdered, and that has to deal with supposedly he was chartering in the territories about information that the government knew that he probably had that they did not want to have or know and possibly tell. And actually, I think it was a week prior, maybe not even that he told his brother he had been receiving harassing phone calls that uh, if something were to happen to him while he was going to go to Martinsburg, it would be surely not an accident. And he had told his brother that, and sure enough, he was found dead by a maid in a hotel, and it was in the bathtub too. And that's another important thing I want to bring up about the crime scene. Uh, there was so much blood and everything, obviously. Even one of the cuts, like it severed an artery or something like that. But a professional cleaning crew was called in the next day to clean everything up. And why would you do that at a scene of a crime? Uh, not to gather evidence. Just even if you rule it a suicide, you still take the proper protocol. And the thing is, if you don't know, you treat everything like when you come into a scene like that, you treat everything like a homicide until proven otherwise. They did not follow that procedure. Immediately ruled it a suicide. Anytime something like that's done, you have to wonder if there's something being covered up. I mean, that's just not normal routine by the authorities, and then having some professional cleaning crew come in and removing everything and any and all evidence that might have been there. Uh, also at his funeral, apparently two men dressed in military uniforms were there, and like one of them lied something on his casket. But the thing was, Calasera was not involved in any military affiliations like Air Force, Marines, Army, Navy, etc. And it was people found that odd. No one knew who that they were, but Uh, not so for me personally, I don't know if that's uh, you know anything. I mean, it's eerie and maybe suspicious, but I don't know if that warrants anything to if it had anything to do with his death or anything like that. But it is uh, pretty odd behavior and something for them to see that. But regarding the October surprise, Michael. I gotta see how I pronounce his name because I put it in a note here. Yeah, Michael Ricontasoto. Yeah, that's it. Michael Ricontasoto. Uh, he had told Bill Hamilton that he and Earl Bryan, a director of Hardin Incorporations, a government consulting firm, had paid $40 million to Iranian officials. This is where like I said, about uh, them having a deal to keep the hostages in there until Reagan won the election. This is where this whole thing comes into play. And yeah, so basically, this is what it was dealing with: the keeping the hostages until Reagan came in, so he would like win the president, and then like he make good on his word. Uh, and then this allowed Earl Bryan, though, to be alleged to be able to profit from the illegal pirating of the Promise system, according to and again, Rick Contasoto. I know I had to, like I said, I had to make a note of that because it's spelled weird, so I just wanted to make sure I said it right. In addition to his allegation, uh, he submitted, and he had also information about the Inslaw case, but then on March 29th of 1991, he had told other about the in-laws case on March 21st of 91, and then on March 29th of 1991, he was uh, arrested and later convicted for distributing methamphetamines and methadone. And the charges, and it's been said that it's possibly that the charges were sent out because of uh, it was to prohibit him from telling his story and from what he knew about what went on in these certain uh, cases. And a question I have also is I want to know is if because there was a suicide note, uh, I think they said. Matter of fact, yeah, there was by Danny Calasero's body when his body was found in the hotel room, and I was wondering if family by any chance got to see it. I'm gonna guess not, but if they did, or if anyone could tell if there's maybe difference in the handwriting and any discrepancies, like if it didn't match his handwriting or anything like that. That'd be something I'd like to know or see if the comparisons of like this whole thing just doesn't add up. It doesn't, like I said, with the he had told the numerous things about, I've been receiving threatening phone calls. Don't believe a word that they say, that because it's not an accident if something happens. And then when something happens, a professional cleaning crew is called in right away. I mean, when it's a crime scene, you would like have it held off for a while till you do so. I mean, no one would get in except any authorities and officials like that. But for them to do that right after, it's like it's like covering up any and all uh, clues and evidence that might have been able to possibly figure out what exactly happened. But they, of course, ruled it a suicide. I don't buy it. Uh, I do think he had some information that the government didn't want him to know and to possibly tell others, and I think he got whacked by the government. It's sad to say. I'm not trying to make a conspiracy out of it, but it just seems as plain as day from what I've seen and heard and read. It just doesn't add up to someone just committing suicide all of a sudden, because he really seemed passionate about uh, figuring out what was going on behind the scenes of the October surprise, the octopus, and the Inslaw case, and he had so much information. In fact, he had met someone, I think the day or the day before he was found dead, and he was supposed to like share documents and everything like that, but then the documents were never found again. So you know, and I won't. I don't think I'll need to leave a link in the description below, uh, but I'll leave one anyway. But you can just Google Danny Calasero, and uh, you'll find many things just by searching his name in Google and finding many things about the whole conspiracy possibility, and then his death, uh, being a suicide, though I don't think it was, like I said. But that's it, though. Uh, I will leave a link to my Facebook page for my YouTube channel, and you can check that out. Like if you want, I leave updates of when I make new videos and everything like that. So I'll leave a link. Yeah, like I said, I'll leave a link to that, and I'll leave a link to an article, one of the articles I gathered some information from. But like I said, you can just Google uh, Danny Calasero in into the search bar, and you'll find pretty much anything you want if you want to learn and read anything about this case. So, but as that said, but with that said, as always, I'm Nam, and always use your noodle.